the problem with stepfathers and stepchildren and that, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be issues. I truly believe, 95% of stepfathers, they don't really want to take that boy or that girl under their wing. They're just doing it because they want to be with that woman. Obviously, there's going to be a 5% of men that generally grow to love that boy or that girl and that really look at them like, yeah, they're my own. But for the most part, I don't think most stepfathers really care about that child, that boy, that girl. They're just there because they want to be with the woman. They're just there because obviously they now got kids with that woman. If they could have that child disappear, i.e., go and live with the biological father so they're out of their picture and that, they would do that. Or if they could have it their way, that child would biologically be theirs. Now, what's inspired me to make this video is I just come from my tenant's house, innit? And I asked the man in the house, it's a family house, 3-bed house. I asked the man in the house when the property was rewired, and he said, I haven't been living there that long. Me asked the missus, innit, she was here before me, innit? So right then and there, I know obviously it's not his yard, he's moved in. And you know what man say about man then moving into women's yards and that? Don't do it, fam. So I noticed that obviously the woman had some sons. One was like 11 and one was about 17. And just by the way this boy's mannerisms were, and I can tell anyway, regardless of whether, one of them youths in Northampton that think they're bad and that, but they're not, innit? Regardless of whether a boy thinks he's bad on the road or not, and regardless of whether you're a boy's biological father or not, teenagers, they're gonna test you, male and female. One of my brethren told me about this, and more than likely it's true. I believe it. It makes sense. In the lion's pride, obviously a lion will have a pride. There might be 2 lions occupying the pride, and they got a bag of females and that. When the male cubs start to come up and that, and when they become teenagers, apparently they get kicked out of the pride because they will try and mate with the other females and that. They're basically trying to take the position of the adult males. They're basically trying to test the adult males. You as a man watching this right now, or even as a gal, but especially as a man, there must have been times where you've tried to test your dad, let alone your stepdad if you got a stepdad and that. You get me? Man get 1-2 extra pubic hair and that, and now you think you're a big boy because, you're the size of a man. The van going past. You're 14 years old, but you're the size of a man. So now you think, I can test this brother. Whether it's your dad or your non-biological dad, it don't matter. I could tell with this boy, just him being a teenager, and because he thinks he's bad and that, I know that stepdad, if he is trying to play the stepdad role in it, because certain men don't even try and play the stepdad role in it. I'm your mum's boyfriend, that's it. Literally. He's gonna have a tough time with that youth. I truly believe most stepfathers and that, most men that are in the position of being a stepfather, they don't really want to be that kid's stepfather. They're just doing it because they're with the woman. And obviously it's not a nice situation to be in. But let's say, for example, there's certain men that say, I'm the stepfather, you get me, man. I'm basically your dad. Because there's certain men that have been in a youth's life since they were 2-3 years old, and now they were 14, 15 and that. Substantial amount of time. But I'd love to know what these so-called stepfathers would do if the mother passed away and they had to put themselves out there to look after this stepchild. Would they still be hanging around? Would they still fulfill that title of being a stepfather? I don't think so. The reason why I don't even believe most men want to be stepfathers and when it comes down to the biology side of it, is men by nature, we were proud. We want to build a pride and a dynasty and that. How can you truly build a pride and a dynasty when you got a slight outsider and that? Because this is what happens in situations with stepfathers and that. The stepfather will come in or whatever in it, take care of the youth and that, but then he will start having children with this woman, more children. Next thing you know, the woman's got 1 son by 1 man, first of all. Now she's got a few kids by this new man and that. So now they've got their separate little family and that. What starts to happen to the eldest whether it's a female or a male, they get cast aside, they get pushed to the side. This is what happens when men become stepfathers, and I don't believe a lot of men are actually genuine with it. I don't believe they truly care about the eldest child who's not theirs. And obviously the darkest side of this stepfather's thing, I'm hoping that, get me, the background noise isn't too mad and the wind's not blowing too hard, and that, you know, let me wind up this window one second. The reason why I always have the windows down is because it gets flipping hot, fam. But yeah, the darkest side of this stepfather's thing is there's a lot of girls out here. I don't know what the statistics are on it, and if there are statistics, they're probably a bit short, i.e. 30% of girls are sexually abused by their stepfather. It's probably 50. Some people are not going to come forward, and that the numbers will never be 100% accurate, obviously, innit? But there's a lot of girls out here, they get sexually abused by their stepfather and that. And there's a lot of weak women. You're scum of the earth, mother. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should have a V section after this, you know. There's some women, they know deep down that the stepfather is interfering with that child, that girl child. They know. Like, it could be a situation where, get me, the mum kind of bit of a light sleeper and that. Get me, she hears the stepfather get out of bed and go down the hallway, innit? Yeah. Get me, disappear into one of the rooms and that. But he ain't gone into the bathroom. He ain't gone into his son's room. She knows. Get me, that door's a bit creaky and that. She knows the difference between the doors and that. She knows that he was in a room that he's not supposed to be in at a time he's not supposed to be in. Get me? She's awake the whole time, listening. Yeah? But she didn't hear no toilet flush and that. And when she come into bed, when you come back into bed after an hour or whatever madness and that, innit, yeah? She'll be there looking at him and that, but she won't say nothing. But you know, yeah, you know what that guy was doing, but you don't say nothing. All because, you know, if you break up, if something happens or whatever, you report him and that, you're going to lose where you live and that, you're not going to be able to drive this car and that. There's some women that will sacrifice their child, their daughter's innocence to keep up this lifestyle with this man. Nah, man, your youths then must come first. There's a lot of girls out here. There's a lot of girls out here. I can remember female intuition as well. Women, when I say they're smart, they're not. Obviously, there's a vast amount of women that is book smart, obviously, innit? But when I say women are smart, like, women are like, they got female intuition, they're psychic. Trust me, there's all certain times, like, man says stuff to my girl and that, and then she just caught on quick. To get me, like, I'm like, raw, how the hell did you put two and two together and that? Like, women, they got a different level of intelligence when it comes to certain figures. Some people call it emotional intelligence and that, and that's basically like being street smart. You know, like when you got your spidey sense on, innit? Yeah. A woman will know. A woman will know that her daughter is being interfered with by that stepfather and that. She will know. There'll be certain reactions that this girl will have around this man. She won't look him in the eye, or there'll be some funny behavior. If you're a woman watching this right now and you notice your daughter's got some funny behavior around just her stepfather and that, you gotta look into that. You need to pull your daughter to the side and don't even turn a blind eye to it, or don't assume nothing. No, he would never do that. You don't know. You don't know, fam. You don't know. There was a barber that man knew. Yeah? This guy's in jail now because he was sexually abusing his stepdaughter for like 10 years or something like that. And probably no one believed the girl. Maybe she never spoke up. But I reckon there was signs that the mum didn't pick up on, or the mum saw it and she decided, you know what, I didn't see that. Just like the mum who noticed that the stepfather's got up and he ain't gone to the toilet, he ain't gone to the little son's room. Why would he be going to the son's room in the middle of the night anyway? He's gone into the daughter's room, which is directly opposite and that. She ain't said nothing. But you know, you saw, you heard. But you didn't say nothing. You got a duty of care as a mother to protect your daughter. But yeah, back to the original thing. I don't believe most stepfathers really want to fulfill the title of being a stepfather. And you'll really truly see if that person really wants to fulfill that title of being the father, the stepfather, and that. If unfortunately the mum was to pass away and now it's him who has to look after the 14, 15-year-old, I guarantee you'll be trying to give that youth up for adoption. Especially if he doesn't have any other children. So imagine a situation, yeah? Imagine a woman who has a older son or older daughter that's not his, yeah? So you got a woman and you got a man. He's looking after a stepdaughter or stepson who's like 14, 15 years old, but he also has a few kids with them, a few kids with this woman. If she dies, yeah, maybe he will take on the role of looking after this 14, 15-year-old and the small children and that. But I guarantee you, if he was a stepfather to this child and the woman just only had one child or whatever, if that woman passes away, that youth there is on its own. You'll be making preparations to send that pitney to the grandparents, to the auntie and that. But a few months back, when everything was all good and well and that, you was claiming that you was a stepfather. Not really, man. Not really, man. You are circumstantial. You are a time constraint stepfather and that. But like I said, there's 5% of man that generally would take on a youth as their own and that. Me personally, I wouldn't be taking on no girls' children and that. Nah, man. It ain't really got nothing to do with the children. It's more so a case of me, I'm a man of pride. I'm a proud man and that. And I don't want no man thinking that he can even come knock on my door. Yeah, like for whatever reason, or I don't want no man to feel like he's obligated or he's got authority to come knock on my door, because regardless, whatever you want to think and that, if you got someone's youth living in your yard, yeah, a man's got the right to come round. Yeah, maybe he needs to phone up beforehand, but you know what? Nah, I don't even want no man feeling that, yeah, he's got the right to come knock at my door, innit? Me, I'm the type of man, I will have beef. If I'm with a girl and I'm taking care of someone else's youth, I'm a stepfather and that. Me, I find trouble at anything. Man find trouble at anything. That guy will say or do something I don't like. Now, there's a war going on. So I just wouldn't even put myself in that position. I don't need to. I don't need to. I'm making a success of myself where I don't even need to be taking care of no or taking on no woman that's got children and that. Nah, man, I leave that for the man them that's not. You get me? They ain't got much options and that. No disrespect to no women who's a single mum and that. But me, I ain't taking on the role. Because I know there's gonna be dramas. I know there's gonna be problems. The man is gonna say or do something I don't like. Now there's gonna be a war going on. Unless he's a complete pussy. I know someone who's a stepfather, and they told a next man who is the child that they're looking after's dad, you can't come to this house and that. When I heard that, I thought, yeah, that guy's a pussy, innit? Any man, even Usher, talk like that, I'ma bang you in your face. I may as well, because you're telling me that I can't come to the yard and that. So if it's in person, I must move to you, and if not, then I'm coming to the yard to move to you, innit? How are you telling me that I can't come to my yard to see my daughter when I want? Nah. But obviously everyone knows who to play with and that. Because if the man was a serious man, you wouldn't even have said that to him, innit? He knows he's a weak youth, innit? Yeah, he's wet, he's moist, innit? So that's why he said it. That's why he said it, innit? But yeah, if you're a stepfather of that, telling you, set your watch to it. That teenage boy is gonna try to test you one day, innit? Even if you're his biological dad, you're gonna try to test you, innit? So yeah, these are the problems. These are the issues with men becoming stepfathers and taking on stepchildren and that. You lot probably even seen that advert on YouTube. You're not my dad. One mixed race girl, I think she's getting married or something in it, and the stepfathers are white man and that. You're not my dad, whatever in it. Yeah, this is what happens. It's not just the boys that test the men, you know. It's the girls that test the men as well. Anyway, enough talking now, man. Stay away. Done now.